What's going on? Where is
What's
Mr. GC?
up?
There he go. Is
My
that
bad.
hair? Is that hair?
Yeah, man. It's
Oh
my
my!
hair.
That's
I live my
Timothy.
hair.
Come through hair.
I'm
Right.
thinking about cutting it, so I don't know what to do. I might cut it off, man.
Lock
So
it up. Lock it up.
I gotta do something. I don't know. I gotta do something. So yeah, shrinkage is real though, because you should have seen it. It was like I had to pat it down like my kid in play. I had to get it pat down, man. You
You
know.
better not cut it. You see these men out here struggling to grow hair.
Yeah, that's what they say. I mean, people out here struggle. Got the struggle here, I guess.
They going over there to Turkey to get that Akon.
Hey man, you know what? Now this was before I really knew it was a thing. Because this was right before the pandemic, and I was over there and in the Turkish airport. And you looking around, and you like, wow, all these dudes like got new hairlines, like, but it was fresh, right? So because you could see the blood from the dots or whatever. So you like, ooh, they struggling out here in these streets. Okay, everybody. I'm like, this must be the place like where women go, how they get the BBLs, dudes come over here to get the hairlines. Okay.
That's
Right.
what I said.
And then I realized that Turkey was the place that people go to get it done. So it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense now.
It's a girl I follow on TikTok. She opened up an Airbnb just for like people, Americans that are going over there for those types of services.
Oh yeah, that's where the money at.
That's where the
recovery
bread at.
houses. Yeah, the recovery houses.
Yep.
Well, welcome y'all. For those of you who do not know who we are the Breaking Barriers podcast. We are back this week with a new episode. I'm excited about this episode and our guests. But I will introduce my co-host for you guys who do not know who we are. I will start with the man with the hair, Mr. Adrian, aka
Mr. GC, you already knew.
aka
Harry McFly, baby. We all out. We out here today. We out here.
Then we got our girl over here with her little bun over here. She got a little bun going on today. My girl Drina, aka
Dream.
aka
Drina finds out.
you need to know something. She gonna let you know. I promise she gonna find out for you. She will.
And then we have our host, always with the most going on, Miss Dee, Miss AKA.
The core queen.
AKA.
I'm tired, child. I'm tired. My son swear I'm his personal Uber driver.
Ooh, child.
Oh my goodness, y'all. Well, we got some stuff to talk about, so we're gonna get into our trending topics so that we can get our guests in here on this show. But let's start with our NFL recap. OMG, we're in the playoffs. What y'all think?
Hey man, let's go, Lamar. Let's go, Lamar.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going for. Whatever team he on. So y'all tell me.
Yeah, the Ravens.
Okay.
You know them daggone Buffalo Bill fans are so mad. They done sat there and dug that stadium out for how long? All that snow. Oh my God. Then it come down to the kicker.
Ooh. I know. Ooh. I know he felt it.
Yeah, that's bad. So what do y'all think about I guess Dallas is sticking with their coach and they gonna ride it out again.
I mean, I don't know who gonna go there. Like, I mean, the best coaches, I don't see them going there because Jerry Jones. They know what they getting themselves into, and I don't think they really want to deal with that.
No, until he give up some of them titles, they're never gonna win.
They're just not thought it was easy.
Yeah,
it's easy. Oh, it's easy.
Well,
no, so this is the funny thing. I just realized what they did. So, of course, he acquired the team, and they had Herschel Walker, and they traded Herschel Walker for all them picks. They literally did the same thing that Houston did with Watson, right? Was able to kind of rebuild, get the picks, Now they, Houston looking, they was looking horrible last year before, right?
Right.
Now you got those picks. Now you starting to be able to rebuild. You got more picks coming. So it's just the beginning. And hey, possibly you can win a championship. But that's kind of what they fell into, was able to get all those young players and ended up winning the ship. And it's like, oh yeah, we can keep doing this. It's easy. Because you got to remember, he came in 89, he got the team, and then they won in 91. So it's like, yeah, I'm the man. I got this. And,
right.
But 30 years later, they can't even sniff nothing. So pride, But we'll see.
Oh well, I love it.
I know you do. But y'all done fire y'all two coordinators again.
As we should. We didn't fire them last year.
We didn't fire them last year, my bad.
No,
but this
they got hired in better position because they made
they got better. You can't be mad at that.
No.
They went on do great things, but this year he's like, yeah, I'm getting rid of them.
They had to go. If they didn't fire them, they was gonna riot. They was gonna riot. Yeah. No way. They couldn't stay.
They couldn't stay.
No, they were gonna burn that stadium down. Y'all know them fans crazy. Y'all know them fans crazy. So did y'all watch the game last night? The Sixers game. Joel Embiid scored 70 points and 18 rebounds.
I watched like the end of it. I didn't know. You know how people like, yo, buddy out here walking bucket tonight. You better tune in. And when I tuned in, I think he already had like 56. So
right.
I didn't catch all the damage.
Yeah, so, that boy balling this year, man. He is balling.
So I was like 70. Sheesh.
Yeah.
That boy was hot. He couldn't miss.
Get him, Joel. Get him.
You see Milwaukee fired their coach.
Yes, I just saw that not too long ago.
So apparently what they're saying, because people are saying it's Giannis, but apparently is Damian Lillard's having a hard time finding his footing, in the offense. And so he's been struggling trying to figure it out, trying to get acclimated. And they're like, man, we done gave up too much for him, him to be struggling with the coach to be trying to figure out his footing. So
yeah,
the coach.
Well,
30-13.
Gotta go.
Number 2 in the East.
And next, look, we got one more trending topic I want to touch on real quick, only because I live here close to Charlotte. And I just can't believe these fools had the nerve to give teachers a bonus by mistake, and now they want them to pay it back.
What? That happened in another state, and I forgot what. Like they wanted to, in order for the teachers, if the teachers gave them money back, they were like giving them like a gift card to somewhere.
Like, some trash.
It was something crazy.
Like,
it happened at a Kroger's grocery store in Mississippi. They gave people like an end of the year. They were telling them, oh, you're gonna get a bonus, but I think they meant to put like add an extra, 13 cents to their check, but they ended up giving them like each person like $13,000. And they were like, if you don't pay it back, like you will lose your job. And I'm like, if I work at Kroger's and y'all, I'm probably gonna find me another job and keep this $13,000.
Yeah, that is just so ridiculous. What's up, Whoa?
What up,
That's so ridiculous, man. Yeah, I don't know. So they said, I think they gave them, each person got $1,250 a piece, and they want their money back. So I don't know what's gonna happen, child. We got one icebreaker before we bring our panel on. Who should win the MVP in the NFL for regular season? Who should win?
Y'all tell me.
Lamar.
What?
Lamar.
Tell you, Drina.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So for real,
you going for? You said, oh, that's who I'm going for.
But I don't know what the rules are for picking MVP. Can anybody be MVP? Your team just has to make it to the Super Bowl or before the Super Bowl?
This is for regular season. Who played the best? What's the best player of the regular season?
Okay. So it don't matter what position.
But normally it's a quarterback just because, but it shouldn't be. It should be the best player. But Lamar Jackson, to me, is definitely hands down the best player in the regular season, to me, and the playoffs right now so far. In my
So is there an MVP for the season and the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm finding out.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there's anybody like I don't know who's the I think CJ Stroud was in there for contender.
Yeah. But he gonna get rookie. I mean, he gonna get rookie of the year. So
yeah. So
he gonna get rookie of the year. Lamar gonna get MVP. You know,
right.
is
So
what it is.
So there's a panel of people who makes this decision.
Yeah. It's a committee. Yeah, it's a committee.
Okay.
Yeah. Drina, we're gonna need you to do some research going into next football season. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think he's gonna get offensive player of the year.
Yeah, he definitely deserves some type of an award. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, he did his thing.
Well, it's time.
It's time
for our panel to come on, guys.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, since my guest was hard-headed and didn't give me a bio, I'll let you introduce your guests first, and then I'll introduce him.
Okay, they all here?
Yeah, they all here.
All right. Well, you ain't got no bio for him. You don't want to make it quick and easy for him?
You want me to bully him because he's gonna be here by himself.
He didn't give you no bio. I got bios for everybody.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make up one because I do know him. I know him as Sergeant Grooms. I call him Grooms. Therion Grooms. He is currently military in the Air Force, what we call a military instructor. He is a drill sergeant, y'all. He is a drill sergeant in the world's greatest Air Force. So he out there getting y'all children whipped into shape and getting them together. He's
Is
a
there
beast
another Air Force? Never mind, my bad.
Beast in the gym. Don't play with him. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's a girl dad. 2 little girls, 2 beautiful little girls. He's an amazing dad. He's just an all-around great guy. Y'all, welcome Grooms onto the show.
Hey,
Welcome.
How you doing? How y'all doing?
Don't be trying to come on here sounding all sexy now.
That's from yelling all day. That's all that is.
Oh shit.
All day. It was a long day.
Welcome to the show.
You got.
You see what Walt said about you? Walt said you rocking that Dr. Cornelius West, Adrian.
That's my Malcolm X. I gotta represent it. So
Listen, well, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you.
Hey, well, you just keep rocking for all the guys that can't grow hair. How about that?
Oh my God! Don't do Whoa like that. See,
You got time? Well, hold up, my bad. I forgot. Air Force is different now. You got plenty of time.
Damn, he throwing shots already.
No, I'm just saying it ain't what it was. These kids are able to call home every day now. In BMT, I don't know where that happened, but okay, all right.
That's a rumor. That is not true.
No, it's not a rumor because my nephew was about 3 years in, and he was calling me all the time.
Yeah, it changed though.
It's
back to normal. Like they went old school back again. So they seen issues how it was going, so they went kind of old school again. So it's pretty good now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
No, my brother, you're not bald and sexy. You're bald because your pigments in your head fell out. So it's over with. You bald because you have no choice. I get, if you say you sexy, I give you that, but you're not bald and sexy. You know what I'm saying? You're bald because you have no choice. Okay. I'm going to leave you alone.
Go on and introduce the guest so we can get these questions in. We only got 2 hours.
All right, because I got 3 guys here. So I'm going to start off with Chris since he's been on the show. So I'm gonna cut him in half. He's a father of 5, right? Coach Bam is what we call him. He's a coach, motivational speaker, mentor, all of that, right? That's my guy. Father of 5. He just got 1 daughter.
He been fucking.
He's gonna come on here and correct me. He was in the Air Force as well too. The Didi said the greatest Air Force in the world. I didn't even know it was another Air Force, but
other countries have Air Forces, Adrian.
Huh? What'd you say?
Other countries have Air Forces.
You know what? I don't think they call it Air Force. That's what I'm saying.
I worked with them. Yeah, when I was deployed. They do call them the Air Force.
I always been with grounds troops, so whatever. Anyways, but yeah. bring my guy in here, man. Coach Bam.
Coach Bam, you've been out there getting it in.
What's happening?
Multiply.
Y'all crazy. What's happening? What's going on?
Coach Bam.
Oh man, what's going on? Just chilling. You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing?
Welcome back. We're good. Welcome back.
For sure. How y'all doing?
Good.
Keeping it funky. All right, to the next one. We'll go to the next one. Next we got Eric Childress. Steadfast. He been a husband. He married for 17 years. Ooh. He loved his woman. But that boy 17 years in the game. He got 2 young men and a young lady, children. Proudly called Gulfport, Mississippi home. You know what I'm saying? Another Mississippi native up in here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Professional journey began in human services, where he served as a dedicated case manager and career navigator for 12 years, motivated by passion for technology, a transition to career in computer technology. Currently and honored to be employed as a network admin assistant with the Gulfport School District. Hey, man, bring him in here. Eric, and that's my family too, man. That's my cousin. Cook, what the business is, Cook? What the business is?
Lord.
What the business is, Cook?
Don't do it like that.
Hey.
Welcome, Eric.
Welcome.
What's going on,
Ooh, 17 years. Oh Lord, I'm gonna pray for you, honey.
Hey man,
Yeah, we good.
Hey,
that's a huge accomplishment.
17. They don't make it 17 years no more.
17 minutes. You got my years. What?
Because Chris, what you got? You got about 12 of them, don't you, Chris?
Man, low key over here, man. Low key, man. Not too much spotlight, man. About 12.
I'm just saying,
you don't make them like that no more.
You in the double digits too. You in the double digits too. I'm just saying.
You better be with all them damn kids.
Hey man, I'm just saying. We had to make. I wanted to make sure we brought some people with some history in this thing. You feel me? So next guest, Ryan Roundtree. It's my guy right here. He's a career firefighter, full-time creator, entrepreneur, helping businesses and entrepreneurs to create, share, and monetize dope ideas, products, services, and even create courses. I told him we're gonna get together and we're gonna talk. Married 16 years. He got 3 kids, twin 12-year-old girls and a 9-year-old son. Hey man, this guy's striving to build, generational wealth and a legacy. Hey, Ryan Roundtree.
Welcome, Ryan.
Welcome.
You feel me?
Y'all out here showing out. Listen, first of all, welcome all of y'all. Y'all are out here like really dispelling all of the BS that social media keeps spewing. So I appreciate y'all for being on this show today. Y'all welcome to the show. Now I might say some crazy shit. Just forgive me. That's what I did.
Here we go.
It's all good. It's all good.
Here we
I'm
go.
so excited. So we got our first question for the panel, for the good dads. What is your definition of a good dad? We're gonna start with Adrian's folks, the children.
Well, I mean, I'll start. Hello?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
All right. Definition of a good dad. I'm gonna say present. present is my definition of a good dad. I grew up in Baltimore, Baltimore County. For some people, oh, you're from the city, but anyways, for the most part, I feel like my dad was around, but he wasn't around. You know, he did a lot of working. He woke up, went to work early in the morning. Pretty much we got our stuff together, go to school, whatever. He, you know, was there in the evening when he got off of work. But it was really like a lot of in passing. I love my dad to death. We talk great now, great conversations, but a lot of the conversations were more of a dictatorship, like you do this, or you know, you abide by what it says in this Bible. It was like kind of one of those things where he more led with a with that belt, and I can recall just I played sports, and he didn't show up to many games. I think I was pretty good. Actually, end up going to college to play football and everything. But it was one of those things where like wishing that he was at a lot more events. I know he had to work, he had things he had to take care of, but just to be there I feel like would have played a much would have been a lot more enriching for me growing up. And he did a lot of encouraging stuff, when he was around. But it's nothing like, being at the games and having that support system that's there. That you have your one person cheerleading squad if no one else. And I know that's one thing that I'm intentional about with my kids. And I know Adrian went through my bio, and it says, I'm currently a career firefighter, but I'm transitioning to being a full-time entrepreneur. And I know entrepreneurship is very time consuming, especially in the beginning. But what I plan to do is incorporate them in a lot of stuff that I'm doing, but I want to make sure that they know that I'm there. I'm the one that's going to the track meets. I'm the one that's going to the practices. I'm the one that's being the cheerleader. I'm the one that's making sure that they know that they have that love and support system in anything that they have going on. So there's no question. So if I can sum it up in one word, I would say a good dad is one that's present.
Okay. Who want to jump in there next?
I'll go ahead. So for sure, I agree with my brother about just being present. Also, I'll just add in for myself just the biblical principles. Being able, I know, like my brother said, his father was that way, but upholding those, but not so much so in a where it's just straight dictatorship, but just being open and showing them, trying to give them an opportunity to explore with themselves and to kind of make decisions and just pretty much putting a mirror in their face to let them decide on how things are going to go for them so they can understand. My thing is I'd rather them learn early some of these hard lessons than later. So kind of putting the ball in their court a lot. But also like you say, as far as being present, but also one of my things is just being invested as far as what the child is, what their wants are. As far as not pushing them towards what you want them to do, but them growing in what they want to do. So being present, but also being invested. Whether it's something like I think say if somebody is a girl dad, has 2 girls or 3 girls. I don't know which brother that is, but you see, okay. So I don't know if any of his young ladies may be into like gymnastics or cheer, but some you see some of those fathers that do those things, those routines with them. But then you have some fathers that will say they're too manly, excuse me, too manly to do some of those so-called feminine things like cheer, whatever, to go through a routine with their child. But being invested to that point to where you can not have an ego in your parenting, and then also being last thing, just being willing to learn, being open to understand that as parents, there's not I guess there are books on these things, but it's really not a book that you can follow. So being open to be able to learn from your kids, from your children and seeing things from their perspective, their point of view, because it's definitely a different time of age and far as some of the things that they have to contend against versus what we had to contend against.
All right, Therian, what you got? What's your definition?
I think it changes often, but since my girls are a lot older, now they're teenagers. For me, it's more of accountability, teaching them accountability for their actions, and just setting them up for success as they become adults. I think a lot of times as fathers or as parents, we tend to try to be our kids' friends, or we want them to like us. So I try to remind my girls all the time, I'm not here to be a friend. I'm here to take care of you and show you the right way so that when you become an adult, whether I'm here or not, you can successfully fend for yourself. A great example for that, for me, my oldest, she's really smart. So she got like a 4.6 GPA, highest grade point average in her grade. But she plays basketball, but she's not good at it. She doesn't give the effort and the time and the hard work that she puts into it. So I told her straight up, I was like, I'm not coming to your games. And she said, why? I was like, because you're not putting hard effort in it. And her response is that she enjoys it and she has fun. So I told her, I was like, all right, so people on your team wants to win. And just because you're having fun, you're having an impact on the people that you're playing with. So you need to have hard work and show that effort and show that passion, and then I will come and show that effort for you too as well. I think a lot of times kids these days, they want a lot, and as parents, we didn't have a lot growing up, so we try to give them everything that they want. So the thing I preach to my kids all the time, hey, it's the right thing, and what you want aligns with what you need. If it doesn't align, then it's not right. So for me, right now that they're getting older and how the world's going, it's more about accountability for me, being accountable for their actions. Whether it's good or bad, it can be a good thing or a bad thing too.
Coach Bam, the one with the most kids. What's your definition?
I think everybody. I mean, all these gentlemen have. Great perspectives. I think for me, number one thing is transparency. You know what I'm saying? I'm really honest with my kids. I have a 22-year-old and a 6-year-old. So I got all ranges, you know. So I think the most important thing you can do with your children is just be honest with them. You know what I'm saying? So because I've been present with my kids, but it's been times where I've had to go away, you know, for business purposes and do certain things that I had to do, and I had to be upfront with them and let them know exactly what I was doing and what my time frame was and what the plan was. So I think that's the number one thing. And also, you know, with coaching kids, it's the same thing. They need to know the plan, what we doing, what's the goal, and just move forward from there. So I think, you know, short but sweet, just be honest with with your children. I think that's the number one thing. Just be an open book with them. I think that'll have them respect you a lot more than if you walk around like, you know, you kind of like holier than thou, like you never made a mistake. Kind of share with them your experiences, what you've been through, and why you teaching them the message that you're teaching them.
Those are really good definitions, because we had a panel on here a few weeks ago. Yeah, I'm sorry. And one of the guys on the show said that he was a great dad. And the reason why he was, I'm not gonna say the reason why. He said out of his mouth that he sees his son every Wednesday and every other week. So he was a great dad. And we just couldn't understand, because his initial comments about having this new child so late in life, he was like 50 something. I think the child was like 6. And his response was he had older children and he wanted to do over, because he was in the military when he had his older children and he wanted to spend time with this new kid. And we just couldn't understand how you created this child and claim that you're this great dad and you're really not present in this kid's life. So that's why we wanted to ask this question about your definition of a good dad. And I know it's different for everybody, but to intentionally have a kid and then still not be present, to me, is not the definition of a good dad, a good parent, period. But that's just mine. So thank y'all for being present for your children.
No, got to be.
Yep.
Yeah, Coach Bam, that one caught me off guard. Ooh, child.
What caught you off guard? What part?
You see the comment? He said 22 and 6. God damn. Brave man.
I ain't even see that. Nah. Well, yeah, I mean, I got a 20. I have 4 sons and 1 daughter. So I got a 22-year-old son and a 6-year-old son, and my daughter is 11. So all my kids are heavily, I'm heavily involved with all of them. All generations, and and they friends too. So I got a whole community. You know what I mean? My daughter, she just had a game the other day and she scored 30 points, and the score was 36-4. You see what I'm saying? So, and she knows about the LSU Angel Reese's, the Flau'jae Johnsons. I teach her about, Black excellence and who she is, and she can do anything that she wants to do. You understand what I'm saying? But she's very competitive because she's the only girl.
Mm-hmm.
So when she goes up against some of these girls out there on the court, they don't understand what's going on. But she's been fighting for my attention for a long time. You understand what I'm saying? And she's showing it, So. Yeah, I'm proud of her. So I'm not. You're not gonna be braggadocious, but it's one of them things I'm proud of.
Brag on them, baby. But, okay, so there was, I think it was a video that went around. I think it was a female talking about women making it hard for men to see their children and all that good stuff, and saying that a lot of these men are at their wits' end, and they're gonna just be like, F these kids. Is there anything or anyone that could keep you from being an active present dad?
No.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Absolutely not. I know that even this is a bit, I won't say TMI, but from time to time, you just, I would say, entertain the thought, and I won't say entertain the thought, but we often sometimes, like, if this was not to work out, I couldn't do this with anybody. Like, I'm on my own. I'm single, like, straight up and down. But as far as the kids, like, I want them, like, send them with me. Like, I want to be, who they see in the morning, who they they come to after school. Like, they're telling me what's going on. So it's like, we can't split up. Like, I want them around. So if this is gonna be going to come down to us having to battle out in court, I want my kids. You know what I mean? I really want that place in their life. So I really don't understand how, like you said, the guy talking about, he want to start over with this one. Like, nah, you need to do well by the ones that you got. Like, I'm sure they gonna have these stories about you when they get older. Like, yeah, you're a great dad to this baby, and maybe, and that's a maybe. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, let me get another do-over. Nah, you don't. You done with the do-over, son. Like, get the ones that you got. Like, do well by them, and help them to cultivate their gifts, help them to grow into being great human beings. Like, I want to be there to actually help to cultivate those things. So I really don't understand how people see it as though once every 2 weeks, like, and then this whole thing about even child support, like, look out for your kids, like, even if it's not a matter of, like, I know some of the females be trying to get money, but, like, make sure that you're looking out for your kids if you don't have them full time, or so like I said, I want my kids,
I can't do it. I can't do it. Just saying, I couldn't do it. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how you. Oh yeah, I can't see my kids during the week. Only every other weekend, one day during the week. Like, what? Like, nah. Like, we made this child together. Like, I'm not seeing my kids every other weekend and once during the week. Like, I want to come and get them and take them and come eat dinner with me, and you ain't doing nothing. That's what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. And maybe it's easy for me to say that because I'm not in that situation, right? Because I'm married and my kids live right here with me, but we're going to have to work this out. So this is one thing, you know, kind of like what he said, even if you entertaining, I got 2 houses in the same neighborhood. If me and you split up, you taking one of them, I'm taking the other one until them kids turn 18. That's just what it is. We're going to live right around the corner from each other. I don't care what you do, but I'm going to be right here seeing my kids grow up. Ain't no way. What? No, I'm picking them up too. I'm dropping them off too. Nah, we're not playing that game. I don't know how people sign up for that. I'm not signing up for that.
What you got, Therian? Oh, you on mute. We can't hear you. Uh-oh, what you do to your stuff? You went out and came back in. Now we can't hear you. You probably got to go out and come back in. You put earbuds in? Yeah, it probably muted it.
He'll just have to configure that in his settings.
Just log out and come back in. Anybody else got anything else on this topic? Because I know a lot of men who don't have the means to fight, so they kind of give up. And I wish they wouldn't. I wish they would like figure out a way, I don't know, to ask family members for money. I don't know, figure it out, because I just can't think of any reason to not fight for your kids. Get legal aid or something like that. I don't know, but
I believe it ultimately depends on like the relationship you have with the mother. That's always going to be the case. So no matter how much money you got, no matter how much you got, this, that, and the third, you think doesn't go that way. It has to be, you know, you and the other parent, you and the mom got to be on the same page. You know what I'm saying? For it to work, if you guys have any type of separation or anything going on like that. That's just what I think based on my experience dealing with the people that I know that have dealt with those type of situations. It has to be some kind of copacetic relationship between you and the mom. If not, that's when a whole lot of other people get involved and it kind of can get messy, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of bitter women out here for no reason. They just bitter. But I tell men, a lot of men that I've dealt with or who I've known have dealt with this, like those women don't have that much power. You're allowing them to have that power. Like you do have a say so. You just got to push the envelope. You got to go to court. Like you just got to do it. You got to fight.
Some people or some guys, I would say, don't want to do it because they don't want to put the child through that legal fight. And they feel like eventually the child will understand that, you know, come around because they wanted to be with the child and, you know, and just kind of wait till the child is of age to kind of now. But I mean, you know, that's fighting an uphill battle because she's going to be telling it, you know, the child all types of stuff bad about you. So, yeah.
Well, what legal fight would they be trying to save the child from? Because I've been through it with my son's dad initially when we first started. It was bad. But my child wasn't involved in it at all.
Didi, somebody else going to have to chime in on that one. Like I said, they're not my life. So basically what people say is like, you know, going in and out of court, you know, paying the lawyer fees to the doctor fees, you know, taking away food out the child mouth is like, look, I just give you everything that you want. And then hopefully the child will grow up and want to build a relationship with me. I'm going to roll the dice.
You know, you got some guys that don't believe in going to, you know, to court, police, whatever for nothing. Some people just walk away. You know, you still got them kind of guys that still built like that. Like, man, I ain't even gonna deal with it. I'm just gonna go on. And I mean, as you see it in a lot of cases, especially in our community, they just start a whole new family. They'll just go somewhere else, and you know what I'm saying? You know, you see it a lot. You see that one kid, he the oldest of the family, but he don't know the dad. The dad started a whole new family.
Yep.
You know, with another chick got 3-4 kids with the same girl, but there's that one kid he ain't seen his whole life. You know what I'm saying? You see it a lot, especially in our communities.
That's tough. Because I know people like that. They moved on, you know, had kids previously, moved on, and a great father to their other kids. Great father. But first kid, don't see him. Don't talk to him. Don't do nothing.
That's terrible. Poor kids.
And they live right across town. So they growing up, and that's that tough part. And they growing up seeing you being a great father to them other kids.
Yep. Man. Yeah. That's terrible. So speaking of fighting, have any of you had? Well, y'all married, so Tharian, you're not married. So have you had to fight at all to be a part of your kids' life? We still can't hear you. No. Did you like? I need you to leave out of the studio completely and then come back in. Like, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I wanted to hear his story because I know he has one about fighting for his girls. So
I'll say this while we're waiting on him to come back. It's as far as with I have I guess a coworker, and one thing that is kind of deterring him is just dealing with the system of having to go back and forth to court, and unfortunately for him, and I don't know the whole thing though, but he feels like because he had a woman attorney and also a woman judge, they're just giving him a runaround. So he's 2 years in to going back and forth to court, and then his court dates keep getting changed, getting pushed back. So I know for him, a recent conversation with him, he feels like he needs to quit and give up because he's at wit's end, like he don't know what to do, to the point where his daughter's even being threatened by by her sister, like, but all this being overlooked, and he can't get custody of his daughter, and that's 2 years. And he's like, what do I do? Does it take something bad to happen before he can get his child? So I think also some of these systems, some of these, when you do go to the court route, is not necessarily favorable for a man.
Can y'all hear me now?
yes,
All right, there you go. There.
yeah. I definitely want you to chime in on this
right.
part.
Yeah. So for me, I am a single dad, and I do have both my daughters, and I do agree with everyone. It did take a lot for me to get to the point where I was at. It takes a lot of resiliency. It's a headache too as well, but I think it's a choice at the end of the day. I know when I got the phone call that I needed to kind of like step up, and when I took accountability and stepped up to the plate, I was actually deployed in Afghanistan. And then I started doing all my court stuff by myself without a lawyer. I did my own research. And that's how I got to the point where I am today. So I think it's all about, that's why I tell about my girls, it's all about accountability and effort at the end of the day. So it was a long process, but I've been doing it by myself for already 10 years by myself. So it was a struggle. I had to learn a lot. Go on YouTube, learn how to do hair, all that good stuff. It was a struggle, but I got to where I was at just for giving that effort. So I do agree with all the gentlemen and the kings on here. It's all about effort at the end of the day.
I told y'all he's pretty awesome. Okay, guys. So far, since you all are dads, what has been the best part of being a dad so far?
Well, the best part for me is seeing your child grow into a young adult. So I got a 22-year-old, and I think seeing him come into his own. And remember when I was 22 and I had already served like 5 years in the Air Force, living all over the world. And for him, he was in the Army. He's already did his time and got out, but trying to find himself living in North Carolina, dating the whole thing, having an apartment, dealing with real life. I think that's the blessing in being a father, seeing them grow into young adulthood and actually coming to you for advice and asking you real questions about real life stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's rewarding. Yeah. And what about you other guys?
I agree with that. Just the growth, the maturity, seeing them overcome some things, persevere through some things. I have my oldest that's been my first one graduating this year, and just seeing like the young man that he's become. Some of your teachers from when you're younger, seeing those things not go in vain, how they stay close, they hold fast to your teachings, outside of the house when they're around other people. So just seeing that character in them, and the that drive and dedication, that's definitely very rewarding as a parent, because it can get frustrating sometimes when they're like, man, they're not getting it. But when you see that they're really getting it, the older they get, that's definitely a great reward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's pretty standard. I think that's it. You know, just watching them grow, watching them, especially like, for instance, one of my daughters runs track, and you know, she took a liking to track. I mean, I suggested it, and to see how she started, and it was like, you know, she was trash. I mean, she couldn't, you know, she was, you know, couldn't. I mean, she was slow. Like she run hard, heavy, and just to see her to, you know, develop into, you know, actually doing well in these events that, you know, at first were kind of discouraged her. And but when she found her to find her own groove and to find, you know, her event, and to actually she's actually a she's considered an All-American. She actually placed in the Junior Olympics past 2 years. Um, and you know, and she just wants to do more. Like she's taken on like wanting to be that, and she has more drive than I had, you know, and that may come from her mother. I was more naturally talented, and but to see her combine the two and to put in the work, I mean, without me asking, like, you know, and like she's like, "Oh, I'm about to go. Can I get on a treadmill?" I'm like, "Oh, you don't gotta ask me. Just go ahead. Like, do what you do. Go and, you know, get in Mamba mode. I ain't trying to trip off of that." So, or she'll ask me, you know, "Can we go to the track and do this?" Like, you know, just impromptu, or like, "Yeah, let's get it. If that's what you want to do. Let me know how serious you want to be. I'm gonna be there to help push you to that next level." So yeah, I just to see the development, to see the drive, and to see the eagerness to want to grow and to get better, um at things that I enjoy. So
Grooms.
I think it's just I look at it as an investment. So like pretty much everybody said, it was a struggle at first, but I think like even like with the stock market, you put a lot into it, and you don't really see what comes out of it until the end. So knowing that you put all that work and you finally see the fruits of your labor actually come to reality is amazing for me. Specifically the things that you teach them that they don't get at first, and you're like, "You do this right. I told you this 1,000 times." And then when they, you know, turn 15 years old and they start getting it, and not only do they get it, but they communicate the same things to their friends for them to be better too. So I think that's the part I like about it the most is the information you give them. They start to disperse it amongst their friends, and now their friends are becoming better people as well. And then their friends are telling their parents. So now not only are you seeing it for yourself, but you see other parents. You get to see how much effort you put into them by the compliments that other parents say. So nobody wants that kid like that goes to a family or friend house and nobody want to watch them. So it's a good feeling when everybody wants to be around your kid, or they're like, "Oh, she's well behaved, she's so respectful," the teachers and the principals. So for me, that's the best part of it. I don't think we realize how hard we work as fathers until other people let us know how well of a job they were doing. Because it's hard for us to give credit for ourselves. So that's for me. I like to hear it from other people.
Absolutely. What about you, Adrian?
For me, I think that is when I see my kids mimicking me, right? Because for me, if they walking like me, talking like me, that means they look up to me, and I'm doing something that they like, right? I mean, of course, I love to see their progression as well too, and you know that makes me extremely proud. But it's just that extra oomph when you know they walking and talking like me, and you like, yeah, that's definitely me. You know, clearly they like something that they're seeing and that they want to be like, and they're mimicking. So that's what I take pride in seeing as well.
I want to add one thing. I'll say this too about the parenting side. That those are the highlights, but it's really and truly like when you loving your child, when they making decisions that you don't necessarily agree with. So that's another part of parenting. Like when they start making decisions, you like that don't make no sense to me. But if they call you, you still got to be on that line and be, got their back. You know what I mean?
Ooh, child. Yes, indeed. They do not get easier as they get older.
Exactly.
It gets harder. Yeah. Well, Trina, you're not a dad, but what's the best
No.
part of your mom journey?
I think so, kind of what everybody else said, like the progression and everything, but seeing them do like random acts of kindness to like go out of their way to help other people, because it shows me that I did something right by instilling that in them. And then also when you get the messages from like teachers and everything, saying how good of a student that they are, when other people see what you've poured into them. Because you think, when your kids are around you running around the house acting crazy, you're not thinking about how they're acting out. I'm just like, I hope my kids aren't acting like this at school, and then to get that reassurance that they are being, well behaved out in public and helping
Right.
people. I think that's probably mine.
Okay. I think for me, just knowing that, I think one of the biggest successes in knowing that you're a good parent is when your kids tell you you're a good parent. And having a grown child that wants to be around you is to me is the biggest success for me. My daughter is like craving to be around me, or she can't wait to come home. She can't wait to visit me. She's 27 years old and she loves to be with me. So that to me is like the biggest, like, oh, I must have did it right because she doesn't hate me. So
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest success for me.
that, and whenever they're like, my mom, like if they tell you about what their friends have going on, and they be like, my mama would never do that, or my daddy would never do that.
What?
Like,
Yeah.
to let other people know, like, I don't know what you got going over there at your house, but we don't do that over here.
Yeah. Having kids that want to hang with you, you might be doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fellas, how did your experience or lack thereof with your father inspire you to be the dad that you are today? Anybody can jump in. I don't want to. Whoever's ready.
I feel like, me not having a father was the blueprint. You know, you understand? My dad wasn't there at all. You know what I mean? I did have someone that stepped up, as a stepfather, but it was old school. It was like, hey, I'm gonna pay the bills. I'm watching the game. I need my beer and I'm chilling. It ain't no. I'm not out there at the park throwing the ball. We're not doing none of that. You understand what I'm saying? I'm paying the bills and that's about it. You know what I mean? Watching the game, get out of here. You understand what I'm saying? But he took care of us. You know what I'm saying? In the financial way. But I think that me not having my dad was my blueprint. I knew that when I had a child that I was gonna be all in. You know what I mean? And it's a real commitment. Like these other brothers on here saying, like it's a commitment like no other because you have to deal with a lot. And people don't understand that. Like you have to tolerate a lot. You have to go through a lot, and it's not always gonna be peaches and cream. It may look good, but it's a lot that you have to deal with. It's a lot of different emotions. There's a lot of different things that a lot of different barriers you got to break down to be a great father. So I think me not having my father in my life, my biological father, I would say, was the blueprint for me to kind of know that I always wanted to stick with my kids no matter what,
Oh, yeah.
So I agree with that. So I would say, well, for myself, also the same thing. I had a stepdad, but it was a little later. Biological father, even though I would go to the house visit or whatever, but I think just they'll be around, but they weren't really interested in the things that I was interested in. So they would try to bring me into their world, but never was interested in my world. So like showing up to games, going to being involved in, because I was heavily into sports young, so being involved, practicing with me, doing anything like that. So I think that kind of shaped me, and just gave me the drive, as a father, uh, to be kind of the way I am now. 'Cause it's like this. I knew what I was missing, and I felt the emptiness of not having a male or father that was there that should really be involved. It was one that I had a figure to look at, but nobody that really just showed me and was involved, interested in what I was interested in. So that's why that's why I said earlier, just it's whatever that their interest is, like I don't matter what it is, hey, we're gonna dive into that thing together. And I might not have any experience in it, but we're gonna figure something out. And there's too many resources, so it's just you know try to help them and see them. But that's definitely been my drive, and my fatherhood.
Hmm. Interesting.
So for me, My father is, I wouldn't say he raised me, but when I became a teenager, I actually moved with my dad. It was just like Boys in the Hood. It played out literally just like that. So for me, I learned a lot because I realized a lot of things about him. He was always cool, calm, and collected, kind of like a Tony Dungy. And he was like a neat freak. So me moving with him, I was like, "Oh, what? Why are you so neat, like a woman?" And he was like, "Hey, no woman want no man that's dirty." So he taught me a lot. He didn't really have to say a lot, but he taught me a lot just by observing him. And I think he put so much pressure on myself for being such a good father that I had no choice but to always step up to the plate and do what I had to do. So for me specifically, my dad being around in my later years, like that has projected me to where I'm at today. His role is always, look, you're not gonna be working at Target, Walmart. Either you taking your ass to college or you going in the military. So, and now I'm 17 years in so far because I ain't feel like going to college. So his rules was simple. And it really got me to where I'm at today. So like I don't really have an excuse not to be a great father. Like I've had everything laid out for me to be a great one. So I commend y'all for the hurdles that y'all overcame, but mine was a lot different. I had no choice. If I failed at being a father, I would have no excuses at all. So
it's crazy. It's crazy. I can remember growing up. I was jealous of people that talk good about their father. Like, I was jealous of that. I had a father that was there but wasn't there, if that makes sense. Like, I don't, and sometimes I wonder what's worse. Having a father that don't pay attention to you and you see him all the time, or he not being there at all and you don't see him. We just never had a good relationship ever. He never showed me nothing to where, that helped me become a man. And when I had kids, I just wanted to be different. I wanted to be, for my kids, what I wanted my father to be for me. I feel like it's that simple. I get so angry when guys say, ain't nobody show me. Hell, ain't nobody show me either.
Right.
But I'm here, right? We here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not an excuse. Excuse because no one gave me the game. Nobody showed me the game. But you knew what it felt like when you was all alone as a child, or when you looking at the window waiting for somebody to show up that never would, right? Show up, right? Show up. That's the first step. Everything else will come. You know what I'm saying? But just showing up is there. And so with me not having that type of relationship, I said, when I have kids, I want that. I'm going to work hard for that. I'm going to show up. I'm going to pick my kids up. I'm going to their games, events. I'm taking them places. Like, my kids will never have to beg me for my damn time. And I can remember begging my father to spend time with him. Begging, like, bro, like, what's up? No. Yeah, we're going to hang out. Nah. Never show up. He had other things and other priorities, and that's what was more important to him. And so, for me, I said, nah, I'm never gonna do it. And it's hard because my kids are such mama's boys that, like, I'm fighting for their attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am fighting to be a part of their life because they running behind their mama. They're like, daddy, you cool? Like, you all right? But mama here now, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could be kicking it, chilling. As soon as mama come in the door, pops, I'm good on you, bro. But I got a little girl down there that love me to death. But what I'm saying, but them boys, man, they such mama's boys that I have to fight for it. And I'm going to continue to fight for it, right? Because that's what I'm supposed to do. I made them. I got to continue to be a part of their life and help raise them to the men that I need them to be.
Hey, that's good, bro. And one last thing I might add is that, like, I think a lot of parents don't understand that it's your job to fight to be in your kids' life, not your kids to fight to be in their life. You know what I'm saying? So, You know, even the times where I've been separated from my kids because I'm out of town working, doing whatever, I still make a concentrated effort to like call them, text them, even though, like Adrian was just saying, they may not even respond every time. They may be in the living room chilling with mama, watching Netflix. You're like, well, you ain't called me all day. You know what I'm saying? I need to holler at you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you still got to do it. You got to get out of your feelings and be a parent. And they'll never forget it. You understand what I'm saying? They'll never forget it.
Nope. What we got next? Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how you guys are stepping up who didn't have dads, because it's like, how do you even know how to do this? I guess it's like, well, I don't want my kids to feel what I felt. So I get, a lot of the guys that I know now who didn't have dads are really good dads. They're like really good dads. So shout out to y'all. Big ups to y'all. Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And Adrian, you made a comment. You said you don't know if it's worse to have a dad there and he like is not present, or to not have a dad at all. And I struggled with that with my daughter because I didn't know how to navigate that with her, because I didn't have my dad at all. I didn't meet him until I was 19, but her dad was in and out. So it was like her getting her heart broken over and over and over. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this because I don't know what to tell her, because I didn't know my dad at all until I was 19.
And that's why I say that, because, you know, some people look at it like, oh, well, you see your daddy. And I'm like, but I can't even get his time. Like, yeah, I know where he, you know, live. I know he's here. He comes home. Like, my dad literally slept at the house. Like, that's it. When I was growing up, all he did was sleep. So once he woke up, he was finna eat and he was finna go out. Even if he didn't have to go to work, he was finna be out the house. Like, he wasn't there. He wasn't present. And so, and you're like, oh, you know, you want to throw? Can you pitch? You know, can we go outside and throw? And it's like, it'd be begging for him to throw with me. It'd be begging him to take me to the gym. It would like, no, he'd be like, nah, walk. I'm not taking you. Like, I'm not taking you to work. I'm not doing none of that. Like, and you just have to figure it out. So you just realize like, yo, you're no one that I can lean on for support. So I just got to continue to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And what it does, it really tailors the relationship now. I think he's different now, but I'm sorry. I just can't. I'm gonna be honest. Whatever. I'm gonna be honest. When I had my kids, I couldn't talk to them like on a serious note once I started having kids, because I'm looking at my kids and I'm looking at him like, nigga, you ain't shit. Like, that's how I look at it, because I could never look at my kids and be like, nah, I'm good. I'm cool on y'all. I could never do that. And so to go through that, it's like you protect that inner child, because there's nothing that you can really tell me. And hey, he might have been going through life, whatever, right? I give that grace. But as far as like being a close relationship, there's nothing that I could do as far as being in a close relationship. We cool, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not finna call. I'm not finna be like, how you doing?
Right.
They let me know what's going on. His health not the best, but I don't even know how to feel about it.
Hey, well, hey, I'll say this to you. You know what I'm saying? Just you just gotta, you gotta consider like whatever situation it was. You gotta forgive them, man. I'm saying that, I'm not trying to be no holier than thou type dude, but like I know I done seen a lot of different experiences, and my dad, honestly, if he was in Walmart, I wouldn't know who he was. You feel me? So I think it's important that even if he didn't do everything you thought he should, that, you know what I'm saying, you just got to give people that shadow of doubt. I don't know if you ever had a conversation with him or know his side of the story or why he was acting the way he was acting. I just know for me personally, even though I was in my kids' life their whole life, it's still probably something that they may have, you know, inside of them with me, even though I was in the house with them every day. You know, because nobody is perfect. No matter, you know, we all sit up on here as parents, but our kids will come to us with something. I promise you, you'll be like, I was there every day.
Yep.
And they'll be like, well, you didn't. And you're like, what? What you talking? You know what I'm saying?
I feel,
You know,
I feel you. So
you get what I'm saying?
I've forgiven them. I just, it's like I said, we cool. Like, you know, we cordial. We'll talk. But I mean, just like that closeness, I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? But like, if we in the same, like, we'll chop it up, we'll laugh, yuck. But like, once we out of the same room, it's like, I talk to you when I see you in the same room again.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? There's no, let me holler at Pop, see what he up to, or you know, it's probably gonna be another 6-7 months before we talk again. Yeah.
I'm with you.
But I ain't mad at him. He gave it to me without giving it to me.
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you from my perspective, because you know my dad passed away a few years ago, and I was just grateful that I did forgive him and that I was at the hospital for that entire year before he died. I was feeding him. I was there making sure he was good. I was calling the hospital, checking on him. I was literally getting on the plane to fly to him to make sure he was good. So I was just grateful that I was able to soften my heart to go up, because I don't know why he wasn't there. I never even asked because I didn't really care. I just knew that he needed me at that moment. So I just went and did it, because as a mom now, it's like you said, there's certain things that you don't realize that you're doing to your kids. My daughter had a conversation with me that broke my heart, and I didn't realize that I was doing stuff to her, being in the military, being away from her. I'm thinking she's acting a certain way because her dad's not there, not knowing that as a kid, you can't even calculate why my mom's not there either. Because I'm deployed, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and she don't feel like I love her. She, like all these other things that I'm doing too, and I don't know I'm doing it. So just having that grace for other people, it'll humble you a little bit when your kids come back and tell you that you did something to them and you didn't even know you did it. So I found that grace, and I made sure I was in there feeding my dad as much as I could before he passed away.
Yeah, and when you have multiple kids, it'll be somebody that'll be displeased with what you're doing. So you got to think about that too. Unless you just raising one kid, just be ready. Be ready, because you know whatever you did for this one, you might not have did for that one. Even though you did in your eyes, they'll come to you with a scenario that'll blow your mind, and you'll be like, "Really?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
That's
you know
hard.
what I mean? But it's just a part of parenting, and you just, you know, like you were just saying, you got to extend yourself that grace, and you know what I'm saying. You got to do the same for your father. Like extend that grace and be like, man, I don't know why you was acting like that, but maybe you could just talk to him and really get inside, and you don't know. Because you really never know everything as a child. You think you're seeing everything, but it's a lot of stuff that, especially men, I'm gonna say from a man's perspective, a male's perspective, you know, we hold a lot of stuff in. Yes. You know what I mean? And it, you know, and you wonder why, you know, Pawpaw was gone early. You know what I'm saying? Because he holding all this stuff in. You don't know what he holding in. That your grandma, you know, you just don't know. So I just think that, you know, as men, this is good. This is a great platform that y'all created for us to communicate. Because a lot of times we don't even talk to each other about what we're going through.
Right.
You know
and
what I'm
that's
saying?
honestly,
we don't talk like that.
That's honestly what I can say that I learned as far as being a parent, and even I'll say my experience with my dad, and sometimes feeling like the lack thereof. But knowing that that even though I have 4 brothers, like we all have different parents. Like and being a parent now and realizing that I parent one kid differently than I parent another one based on what they do, like the way that they respond. And like, so Layla can never say that, you know, oh, you know, you did the same thing. Me and Olivia have a completely different relationship because she responds differently, like she acts differently, like all her mannerisms are different. So I can't, it's not a one size fits all for the kids. And same thing with like you said, you don't know what his experience was. And I think the main thing that I got from all of this as far as being a parent is communication, figuring out how to communicate. And I think that's one thing that neither one of my parents really knew how to do, well, at least to us, or didn't want to. was to communicate effectively, like being clear on what's what, or okay, these are the boundaries, or these yeah, just being able to clearly just communicate, like just your feelings. Like that's I don't really remember giving my dad a lot of hugs, or with even like even with my mom. Like now, like it's crazy. My mom comes home and my kids think it's funny. My wife, it thinks it's funny as well. Like I'll kiss and hug with my mom, and I'll make it awkward now. You know what I mean? And the same thing for them. Make it normal to give hugs and kisses, and kind of to give and receive love. I think that was what was missing. A house full of boys. It was no girls in my mom. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where like we got to be hard, or we gotta, um, we gotta play sports. We gotta, we can't be soft. Like it was one of those things where like all this hugging, is a joking thing where oh man, you soft. Oh man, you ain't really supposed to have feelings for these girls. So it was rough, but I think communicating is the biggest thing that I've gotten from this. And like I said, my dad was there. Sometimes it felt like he wasn't there, but I have countless amount of memories, and countless amount of stories, countless amount of lessons that I've learned from him. And I can honestly say that everything boils down to communication, effective communication. Always, mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, talk about it. Like I don't know what's going on in your head. And if you don't tell me what's going on in your head, I'll never know. And then like, oh, now you weren't there. Like I was there. Like I was the only one cheering. Like, well, when I looked up, I went to the bathroom real quick. Like I don't know what to tell you, but but to clearly communicate what's going on and let them know that you're going to be there, but also just over communicating is what I can say fatherhood has taught me.
And I think that the communication part is like new for our generation, like as being parents. Because when we were kids, it was we need to stay in the child's place.
Ain't
Like
tell
no,
us
there could be
nothing.
no question. Like they wasn't telling us nothing. Like
Yeah,
it was.
not at
They could
all.
be having a horrible day. They could be having the best day of their life. We ain't gonna know because they. As soon as you be like, "Why are you so happy? You need to mind your business. Why you worry about grown folks?" Like, so I'm happy now, like about the communication thing, because I mean, you couldn't be in a room full of grown folks. You just having a good time because they're in there laughing. As soon as they notice you in there, you need to get out of here and go with the kids.
Yeah.
That's one
It's
thing I
still
try to
like that in my
be.
house. It's still like that.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I
As
try
soon
to
as
be
they,
conscious. I try to be conscious about, when you're having a good day or a bad day, right? Because I feel like growing up, if your parents had a bad day and you do something, they was gonna take it out on you. Like any little thing you did, they was gonna take it out on you. And you like, I don't know about y'all, but I can remember, I'm like, man, I got whooped for stuff that I'm like, I shouldn't have got a whooping for. And then I didn't get a whooping for stuff that I thought I probably should have got a whooping for. And looking at it hindsight now, it's like they was in a good mood or they was in a bad mood. You know what I'm saying? And they brought it home. And I was just the icing on the cake that tipped them off that day. And so yeah, I got a whooping. And so I try to be conscious of, okay, if I had a bad day, I'm making sure that my kids doing everyday kid stuff, right? And I'm just not aggravated because I'm bringing it in the house. And so now I'm upset or I'm mad because of the day that I've had. So I'm kind of taking it out on them when they just doing normal kid stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Lord. Ooh, child. So, why do you guys think that dad gets such a bad rep in the media, especially black dads?
yes, black dads.
Grooms, what you think?
That's a complex answer, to be honest. I think there's a lot of answers for that. I think the main reason is That's a tough question to ask. At the end of the day, I feel like somebody got to get blamed at the end of the day, and I think our culture on pretty much how it is now is what everybody sees, and that possibly could be because of social media. So I think a lot of times they see the bad part of our culture and who we are, and not the good part. And it could be also like for me, I'm trying to. At the end of the day, like as men, we know when we do a good job. I think at the end of the day, we do like to get assurance from everyone, but we know when we do a good job. So I think we get a lot of bad rep for it because guys like us are really humble and we don't showcase enough how well of a job that we are doing. So I think like a lot of situations that we're in, I think that we should be talking about it more often so that the positive side of who we are can be shown more than the negative side. So I struggle with that all the time. Like I never tell people, hey, I had to go to court to be a single dad of a daughter and do this and do that. I never discuss it because I do like my private life. I was raised to keep your business within your home. So that's something I struggle with. So I think if we can kind of get out to our neighborhoods and our communities a lot more and tell our story, I think they will have no choice but to hone in on the positive side of it.
I think it's kind of a complex answer, right? I feel like it's been a carryover. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. We was trash in the 80s and 90s. Fathers was trash. Like when you think about it, most of the people you know, especially growing up in the 80s and the 90s, like they didn't really have no relationship with their father like that for real. And I think, then you carry over into the 2000s because people in the 80s and the 90s are grown and they like, nah, we doing something different. I think that, we're doing a great job now, but I think that the carry from the 80s and 90s is something that they continue to run with, of how, the fathers, became absent and not taking care of their kids from that time frame. But I mean, the statistics show fathers are back in the houses now, especially Black fathers anyways, right? So in the 80s and 90s, you're right. Yeah, they fell off big time. But now those statistics aren't the same. So I think, and it's easy to keep running with a narrative, right? We know how that goes. You're just going to continue that narrative because, it works for you. It works in your favor. But that's not the truth.
Yeah. And I think social media has such a huge influence on people that if you post it or if you say it, it's just facts. Like people just run with it. Even though, my biggest thing is you tell me 10 people that you know personally that this affects. If you could tell me that, then maybe I'll believe it. But most of the time you can't. So like if I look at 10 men that I know and they have kids, they are very active in their children's lives. So I don't believe what social media is posting about Black men not being in their kids' lives because it's not true. But social media is really pushing this narrative that Black men are just not, they're still the same way that they have always been. And it's just not true.
Also, too, like to hit on that, I think we don't hold each other accountable enough, like Black fathers to other fathers that's absent. I think a lot of times it comes from women, but I think if we hold them accountable for their actions of them not being involved in their children's lives, then I think it'll be better to us as well. Like I don't have friends that aren't involved in their kids' lives. I won't be friends with anybody that's not involved in their kids' lives. So I think if we can kind of develop a culture to hold them accountable in some form or fashion, I think it'll get better too as well.
Mm-hmm. That's 100% facts. Yeah.
Then we also know typical guys that's not in their kids' lives are repeat offenders. Like, let's be clear. They love sprinkling their seed around like, it's fertilizer, and they like sharing it. Typically that's just kind of how it goes. And that sucks. But most guys, like you said, that I know I'm not gonna be friends with nobody that don't take care of their kids. In fact, I was cool with a guy, and I didn't even know he had kids. Didn't know he had kids or anything. And I mean, we had been cool for like 2 years, never mentioned his kids. And somehow in conversation, it came up, and I'm like, huh? Like, you got kids? Where they at? And he told me where they were, and I'm like, do you see them? Like, nah, I don't never see them. What you do for them? Like, don't pay no child support, don't see them, nothing. I'm like, I don't get down like that, bro. Like, I can't even be cool with you no more. Like,
Wow.
I can't, because I can't look you in your face and be okay with that. Like, I can't. So you will hear from me all the time. Like, I can't rock with you. You don't take care of your kids at all. Yeah, like, I got kids, and they there. I'm here. I'm cool. But he gonna get married and have kids and probably be the best father to them. It's just crazy to me, but nah.
I think you got to pay attention to what's going on in your circle too, because social media is, that's deceptive. That's like smoke and mirrors. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to pay attention to what's really going on in your real life. So like you just said, like, if you're dealing with guys that ain't taking care of their kids and not a part of their kids' life, then that's your reality, not social media. You understand what I'm saying? So I think you just got to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. So if you got kids and, you about that family life and having your family and your kids stay together and stick together, as much as you can, then you need to surround yourself with those type of individuals that are going to encourage you to do the same. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So, each one teach one type of thing.
Yeah.
So I want to say this about the I think it was the rep is for the parents or the black dad, which I'm pretty much disconnected from social media unless it has something to do with pretty much with my children and sports, something like that. But I believe it's black fathers are an easy target because of just the history of it. It's just an easy thing that you can just continue to ride. And then I also think on the other side of that is if the truth is told, I believe it's the fear of how empowering it would be to the community, to our people. I think that's a fear of a lot of people. Maybe different systems or whatever, but I think that's also perhaps one of the factors as why there's going to continue to be pushed. They say that we're absent. Because, like I said, I mean, I know more fathers that are involved in their children's lives that aren't, and then the ones that are not as involved, it's because different circumstances they're fighting against what we talked about earlier. They're trying to be, but I don't know anybody that's close to me or that I even associate with that is just flat out, hey, I'm not going to be a father. So I think that it's empowering. So one way to kind of be deceptive, the smoke and mirrors is to continue to lie through these platforms to say, hey, you all are not this. So then I think people be like, well, I'm not by myself in this, so I'm okay. But when more folks saw that they were really the minority in not being around their children, I think they would push them like, hey, I need to do something with being my children, not just buy into the lie that saying that we're not present.
That's a good point, because even like LeVar Ball, for example, he is always involved in his kids' lives, and it's still not good enough. So at the end of the day, no matter how well we do, it's still not going to be good enough for society. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be too much of a dad and the problem too. Like he said about LeVar Ball, you know what I'm saying? I was in California when all that stuff was happening. So like I know what it's like to stand up for your kids like that and everybody call you crazy. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like you could be like all of a sudden now you too much of a dad. I don't know. Like, what do you do in that case?
Yeah. Well, thank God LeVar didn't let up though. He was like, he didn't care. He still be involved in most of LeVar Ball was a terrible businessman, but a damn good father. And I also think that it has to be a line drawn with the women. Adrian, you kind of alluded to it, but you didn't really say it. With the women who are victims of these repeat offenders, with these men who spread their seeds, frivolously. these women have to be held accountable because sometimes they are the culprits that are pushing this narrative as well about these men not taking care of their kids, but you continuously having children by them. So we got to hold them accountable as well. Like, why, if this man got 7, 8 kids, why are you baby mama number 6, 7, 8? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not adding up.
Yeah.
And then they're pushing this narrative that men ain't this, they ain't that, they ain't doing this. No, sis, your decision making skills pretty off.
Yeah, that and just like Adrian said, you know, the guy he was talking about, he'll go and get married to somebody. Like, to me, like having daughters and their dad wasn't involved in their life. Like, why would I date somebody else who's not involved in his children's life? I could have stayed with the man I could have stayed with their daddy. Like, it just, I don't know what, I don't understand.
Yeah, that is just so unacceptable to even associate with the person who doesn't take care of their children. It's just not, no, that ain't gonna work. Right, all the NBA young boys, baby moms. Like, this dude got 12 kids, and he just sat on freaking a live podcast and said that he's not that into the fatherhood. He's not into it. What? You give it back money, this will happen.
Crazy thing with that, it may be going a different direction, but I guess some women may feel like they could be the ones that be able to change that guy. It's like, oh, he's not going to treat me that way, but then they get the same treatment. I mean, I know, unfortunately, no women has multiple, guys father children that's not around. It's like a continued cycle.
That's terrible.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Adrian, what your boy Nate say? Just slanging that Birkenau around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no. We're not having that. That's too much. So, are there any traditions or habits that you feel are important to pass down to your children, and if so, why?
I mean, I go first, y'all. I mean, you saw my video I posted with the affirmations. I do that every day, with my kids, affirmations, just talk themselves up, man, build that pride in themselves. I don't want nobody telling them, their skin color is ugly or their hair is, ugly, that they not smart, that they not handsome and beautiful, and, that they not strong and they don't have like, I'm instilling that in them now. So as they continue to grow older, it's there, I don't want them to have to think about it. What I learned is that I want it to be a muscle, right? It's a muscle that we're building. You do it just because this is what you've been taught. This is how you grew up. That's how a lot of people operate. They do things just because this is how I learned. This is what I taught. So I'm teaching you how to believe in yourself. How do you see yourself where if somebody try to tell you something different, it's like, nah, we're around the house and I'm proud because even, my son, like, I love my skin, just out of nowhere, right? Just, or, he might see somebody on TV and say the same thing, and it just makes you proud because they get it. They understand, they have a sense of pride in themselves. And that's not something that I necessarily grew up with, you know what I'm saying? It was something that came, later, but I want them to have that. It's a muscle. We building that now. So can't nobody tell them that they ain't who they are. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that's extremely, important to me. And for us to hang out, us to bond, spend time together, kind of talk. I want to make sure that they feel comfortable, kind of talking to me, as they continue to get older and they going through some situations. I didn't. Quick story, and then I'll let somebody else get it. I remember the first time I had a wet dream, and I
wasn't ready.
Had no one to talk to. I didn't,
I wasn't.
I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what it was. I was about 10 years old.
I wasn't ready.
I thought I peed on myself. This is real as a father. I thought I peed on myself, and I went into the bathroom. And, I'm touching myself like, I'm like, well, I don't feel on the outside of my clothes that I peed on myself. So, of course, I go into the bathroom. I have this big blob in my underwear. And I have absolutely nothing. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. And you know, I just cleaned myself up and went back, got in the bed. It would have been awesome to have someone to talk to about that, of what happened. You know, of course, it wasn't until maybe 3-4 years later that I understood what it was, but I didn't have anyone to talk to about that. So I just played it off, threw it in the hamper, and went back to bed.
Boys
I
are
want
so
my kids to be able to talk to me. In fact, I'm gonna initiate that probably when he's about 9 years old, of saying, "Hey, you're gonna probably wake up in the middle of the night one day, and you know, you're gonna think you peed on yourself, but you didn't. When that happened, come talk to me. Let's have a conversation, because you looking like that, but the fact of the matter is, at that point, I could have kids. At that point, I can produce kids. My soldiers are marching. And I had no one to talk to, and I didn't have no clue what happened in that moment. So just to say, if I was one of those kids that was ready to have sex, I didn't know.
Oh God. So glad my son didn't have that conversation with me. Oh, man.
I'm just saying. Open communication.
Give me the period. I'll take the period conversation any day over that.
Just saying.
Oh,
I don't know if y'all been there, but that's what happened to me.
Hey, that was a real Channing Crowder pivot moment.
Oh my God.
Just random. But hey, nah. Hey,
man.
but no, hey, look, but you know what though? I mean, I think you do have to have that conversation about sex with your kids for sure, younger and younger. You know, I started having it with mine, like you said, elementary school. You have to, because it's real now. You know, they got the internet. We didn't have that. You know, you had to sneak in another room and get a VCR tape, you know, my day. Now, you know, it's log into your phone.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So all that hiding and acting like ain't nothing happening, it's happening even if you don't know it's happening. You see what I'm saying? Because they peers are showing them, and it's happening at school, and it's real.
Mm-hmm. They showing each other that, you know.
Yeah, it's real, man. These kids growing up real fast.
Oh yeah. They doing a whole lot.
They doing a whole lot, and then even with this, you know, this whole agenda they're pushing on these kids, man. You know, out here in California, they got, you know, when you filling out the forms at school, they got cisgender and you know, pronouns, and this at school for your child to fill out though. So, you know, you got to be talking to your kid early about what they are, who they are, you know, like, you know, all that. You got to talk about that early. You can't play around, you know, you can't play around that. So it's a real conversation that has to be had, because everything is being sped up.
I am a boy, Damon.
Man, you got to talk about
just like that.
You got to talk early.
Oh.
Yeah, this is too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's all in their phone. All these phones that we're giving them, and these tablets and these iPads, is all up in there.
Them little games they be playing, they ain't just no little games.
Yeah, TikTok. I mean, all of them got TikTok.
Roblox. They be in there with their little lives and stuff. Doing some
all that.
Them animes be off the hook too.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, Jesus.
Oh, it's serious, man. Your kid be listening to, you know, NBA YoungBoy. You ain't even thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? They just cussing like crazy. You don't even know they cussing like that. They going crazy now. Early.
They get on that game, boy. You hear? I'll be in my sunroom. Say it again. Say it again. I'm embarrassed you in front of these people.
Hey, look, and they don't even play the video game like we did. Here. They play the video game online with complete strangers. You don't know half the people your kids talking to now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, we don't listen to no rap around here.
Yeah, not around here either. Yeah. But I'll attempt to reel this back in, Mr. Adrian.
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate you.
But as far as traditions and the habits, on top of, you know, the affirmations, I feel like now being intentional about, you know, being conscious of money and being conscious of not only the affirmations, but, you know, the express the gratitude and even the communication, but to like even me becoming looking to walk away from this fire department, become an entrepreneur, like you can very well create the life that you desire doing what it is that you love, and like really trying to instill in them and encouraging them and help to cultivate their gifts so that they can start to move or start to create businesses um, around what it is that they love and enjoy doing. So like that's what I'm trying to encourage them to do. Like now, like what do you want to do? Like, we can figure this out. Like we can come up with a product, you know what I mean? Like, and start to create the additional streams of income. I think that, for the longest time it's like, and I know that, I mean, growing up as a jack of all trades, my dad taught me a number of things of watching and doing and changing tires, brakes, rotors, all types of stuff, and cutting trees, like whatever it is, like I know I can make $1. But I know that we're able to do so much more with our minds. And I want to start to cultivate in them the to knowing that their mind has a lot more strength than their body will ever have. But to create the things, and I think the biggest thing for me is like understanding money and money management, and uh, starting to putting your money to work for you, because I think that, as especially as the Black community, we never really get the true education of money. Like we don't learn until it's bad. Until it's like it's too late. Now it's like, now I gotta go to the credit repair, or before, I know, I'm not sure how old you all are. I had a whole bunch I had the CDs. They kept sending me CDs, and next thing you know, my credit's bad. Y'all all subscribe to that thing. Y'all got on them unlimited CDs. But you didn't know. It's like, oh, you ain't really got the money for it. But now I got this dope CD collection. Now my credit bad, because I ain't paid for none of them. But yeah, but to just be conscious of money and the money game, and teaching them about money, and not even just teaching them about money, because I don't want to sound like this is because money isn't everything, but to teach them those things in which I didn't learn till, like, I would say later in life, beyond high school and in the college, even not understanding it then, but to start to instill those things in them now, so that it becomes second nature, like a muscle, just like having gratitude, having expressing your affirmations on a daily basis, and it's not as daunting when you get to that age, and you need to buy a house, or you need to, you know, do whatever with your money, with your credit. So I think those are traditions that I'm intentional about, moving forward with my kids.
What about you, Eric?
Same things. A lot of the same things. I think one thing that I did do, and as part of my plan with my rest of my children, we don't really do birthday parties, but my oldest son, at he's 16, and not just because of the age of 16, but uh, we had a gathering, and I had just brought some people together, um, as like one big the community affirmation at that time, as far as just seeing that he was in a spot as far as just being more mature. Um, so just I guess kind of like in a sense like a bar mitzvah in a sense, but not really trying to take the whole tradition from how it was done in the Jewish community, but something that I know that at our community, as far as in my life, uh, not having anybody around to tell you and to kind of show you who you are, and just really bring the family and the community together to celebrate you as a young person. So that's something I started with my oldest son, and that's something I plan on doing with my other children too. But not necessarily at the same age, but it's just at that point when you see that they are the maturity of them kind of changing from a young person to being being from a young kid to being more so a responsible young person. Um, and that at 16, that was just for him, something that I wanted to do to kind of solidify and help him see who he was, and also to see the amount of people that he really had in his corner, that was rooting for him, to be successful, and the resources he had around him to be successful.
Okay. That's interesting because we have like the Sweet 16 for girls, but we don't really have anything for boys.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting. Interesting. Hmm. I'm
Because
sure
I
my
mean, just look at our community. Our young men don't. I mean, what do our young men get recognized for?
nothing but
You know,
sports
it's
and jail.
Nothing but sports.
yeah.
That's
And jail.
it.
And then we wait, graduation whenever that finally does get there. But outside of that, like our young men are not. They're not propped up and they're really told and made to feel good about who they are until they achieve some great feat or something like that.
Yep, that's true.
And I just want that to be different, for my young men.
Good job. Grooms, did you go yet?
Nah, I didn't go.
Okay.
I think for me specifically, because I do have two girls, traditions for me is standards. Like always showing respect. I have to watch how I talk to them.
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, I know that if I want them to be with somebody with standards, I have to showcase that myself. So
Mm.
opening the doors, saying yes, ma'am. I do that to my girls. Say yes, ma'am. Just because I want them to have those standards and have the expectation that they need to be treated as such too as well. Um, and foundation is something that we always talk about too. A lot of times, the younger generation, they'll take risks and they really not scared of anything. Uh, so I think having a foundation is something that need to be preached about. That's what we talk about. So it's telling them, hey, it's okay to have a 9 to 5. You may not be ready to have a business. Maybe you need to have a 9 to 5 before. With the way the world is going, we talk about that often. Just being the example as a father, because I can't expect her to be with somebody and then I'm not showcasing it. So that's the main thing for me is making sure we have standards, watching what I do, and then kind of being creative in a sense too. So I know like for us, every once in a while, I'd be like, hey, everybody get your mattresses. Let's go in the front room, grab your mattress. We gonna go in the front room watching movies all night. Just kind of doing things like that. I think is really important. So just being creative, shooting Nerf guns, having fun. Even though you're not supposed to shoot them at each other, but hey, we be doing it anyways, popping them off. So I think all of that's just important. But I think each family should have their own tradition that's unique to
mhm.
themselves, and that way they can keep what they do within their household. So I think it's important.
I agree. Drina?
Um, as far as with my girls, just a lot of like the family tradition. Always being mindful to show them you take care of the people that take care of you. um, and also even when doing that, like you got to make sure you're not pouring from an empty cup. So you always got to take care of yourself. Because you're not any good to any other people if you aren't whole yourself. Um, and just trying to always remind them to be a friend that other people be the friend that they would want to have to other people. That's what I
Absolutely.
try to teach.
For me, because I do have two nonprofits, I make sure that my kids are involved in the events that I do. So they're always either near me or close to me when I'm planning them or at the events. We're giving out the winter coats and the free meals and all that stuff to the community, or when we're giving out the book bags, school supplies, and all that stuff to the community. I want to make sure they're always giving back. That is really important to show that that could be us, that the tables could turn and one day it could be our feet. So I just want them to see how grateful they should be for the position that we are in, and they don't ever take it for granted. And then another thing, because like I mentioned earlier, some of the things that my daughter was going through, trying to just navigate some stuff, and we went through therapy together to overcome some of those things. And one thing that she requested that we do every year, which we have been doing it every year since she asked, we go on a family trip, just me, her, and her brother. We go on a trip together every year, wherever they choose to go, that's where we go. And we spend a few days together, just us bonding as a family every single year. So those are mine. I think that was the last question I had. So this part of the show is where we allow you guys to tell us what you got going on coming up, anything you want to promote, if you want to promote social media or anything that you might want to let people know. We just appreciate you for coming on the show. So we will start with Mr. Roundtree. Do you have anything coming up you want to tell the people? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Yes. What do I have coming up? So like I expressed before, I am in the process of, leaving the fire department. But I am a creative videographer, photographer. I help entrepreneurs, small businesses to create, share, monetize dope ideas, products, services, and create courses. Just looking to connect with other, creatives, entrepreneurs, small businesses, people that are looking to show up in the online space, people that are looking to expand their businesses. As I know, especially for, I would say, us, and being millennials and Generation X, we are. I feel like we missed a lot. Not that we missed a lot, but we came in and it was like the beginning stages. But as you are born into these things, like is that much easier. And I feel like we don't it doesn't translate the way that we think that it translates, as far as like what we post online. And these younger generations are getting money online, and it's like I feel as though my business allows, is the missing piece for a lot of these businesses. So as far as what I have coming up, my website will be launched within, I would say, let's say 2 weeks. But I am running a marketing campaign for my brand. It's roundtreebranding.com. And again, I'll be offering things such as podcasting, brand content days, for if it's real estate agents, lawyers, anybody that needs to create content to grow their business. Yes, that's what I do, and I can't wait to be able to just walk out of that fire department one morning and never return. And not that I don't love firefighting, it's just I've seen what I need to see. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. It yeah, it's you just if you can think about it, if the police don't respond to it, the firefighters do, So all medical calls, fires, if it's broken waters, water lines and like cats in the tree, we respond to it all. And mainly, I think what being a firefighter showed me was the appreciation of life, seeing people in their worst moments, but also transporting people like to the hospital, and like people that are like, let's say 50 years old, and it's like their health is like, yeah, is bad, and it's like I don't want to end up like this. So making sure I take care of my physical fitness, but I'm making sure that I'm appreciative, and like I said, I love on my kids all the time, just so they know, if God forbid, I don't make it home, they know that dad loves them, and I've given them everything that I could while I was here. So yep. Roundtree, also known as Tree the Creator on all social media platforms. That's Tree dot the dot creator on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
What you got, Eric?
Hey, Eric doesn't have anything. Eric doesn't have anything going on. So yeah, I mean nothing outside of just being a father. But I don't have nothing to promote, nothing to put out there.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
What you got, Grooms?
I don't have anything to promote. I would say for me, me being a drill sergeant, MTI, everybody always think I got COVID. I'm sick all the time. Exactly like my brother over here. I'm ready to kind of wrap it up too as well. I'm tired of dealing with everybody bad kids and having to be a counselor. So for me, I'm giving the rest of my time just to doing whatever I got to do for myself. I think my life is so structured that I'm starting to become a person that just do whatever it is I want to do within the moment. So to be honest, I don't have a plan. And it's the first time in life that I don't, and it feels real good not to have a plan. So I'm just taking every day how it is. If I make up, I may make the big plans and have the greatest idea, and I probably won't even show up for it. And that's where I'm at in life, and I'm okay with that. So I'm just taking each day by each day, taking care of my health, going to the gym, doing it for myself. At one point in time, I did want to compete, but I think I'm just doing it for me, and that's where I'm at with my life. So no plans, nothing really to promote. I'm just ready to go ahead and call this quits so I can stop sounding like I'm sick. That's
Come
it.
to the good side of life.
Yes, yes.
What you got, Coach Bam?
Um, I mean, I don't have very much either. The same, I'm kind of like beating the old drum, same thing. My Instagram is at Coach Bam _. And my nonprofit is on Instagram is at Blackout Youth Sports. Shout out to Adrian and Dee for inviting me on. I don't know the other young lady's name. I don't want to be rude, but we all Air Force brethren. So I appreciate y'all for inviting me on, and God first. You know what I'm saying? Just keep pushing.
Hey, and that's Dream a Dream.
Dream a dream. Dream a dream.
What you got, Dream a Dream?
I am just transitioning to the new year. Well, really, I'm celebrating Mardi Gras every weekend. I've been to a ball every weekend up until the date comes. It's February 12th, I think. But anyway, I just want to say to all the fathers that came on, we appreciate you. Thank you for showing up and answering these questions. I think it was a great conversation. I had a great relationship with my dad growing up, and I think the biggest thing I got from him was my love for people, my love for music, and just him being there. Like those are the best memories. So nothing extra. He didn't do anything really extraordinary. He was just there, and he just showed me like how good life can be if you could just enjoy the moment. So I just want to pass it on to y'all. You don't have to be the best dad, do the best things in the world. Just being there means a lot. So yeah, that's all I got.
AD.
Yeah, what I got going on. So of course, coaching, corrupting minds on the career development. So I have that going on. Also, I did a interview with the Super Connector. So one of the big elements that I have that I teach in career development is networking. So I just did an interview with a guy that's really big in the networking space, and I'll be posting that interview soon. So definitely pay attention because networking is really huge when it comes to you trying to develop your career. You need to meet people, you need to talk to people and develop relationships. So I'll be posting that. Other than that, man, that's really it. Yeah, I brought in my YouTube back. I stopped playing, finally start recording content. I had to wake up super early to do this because my kids don't let me do nothing. But I figured I really want to get back to it, so I have to do it. But yeah, so I've started that, and then what I'll be doing is definitely posted interviews on career development, and I have some people, senior executives in the space speaking and talking about their journey, and I always tie it to one of the key elements that I have in my guide for career development. Holler at your boy if you need that.
Okay. So tomorrow I record the Thursday we will have the Core Queen podcast. It goes live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's my in-person podcast. And I finally got DJ Puff to come back. If you don't know who DJ Puff is, his sister is Asia Wilson. She plays for WNBA. He's been on Queen's Court. He's been on other reality shows. He's one of the biggest DJs in South Carolina. He actually DJs for the South Carolina women's basketball team. Coach is Dawn Staley. So he's a pretty big deal. So he'll be on my podcast on Thursday. So y'all tune into the Core Queen podcast every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. Also, I have my daughter's baby shower coming up on February 4th. So I'm excited about that. Y'all know I'm excited about my grandbaby coming. So, and then I would like to give a shout out personally, in person, face to face, whatever we are right now. First of all, to the Iron Woe Media Group. Woe himself, Dwayne Sutton. Him, Drina, Adrian. When I say these people showed up for me last week, when I had to do one of the hardest things, not even gonna say one of the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, and I'm gonna try not to cry. And that was to bury my grandma. And she was like my mom. Well, I ain't gonna say like, she was my mom. She raised me. She was my hero. She was everything to me. And when I tell you these people showed up for me in every single way that you could imagine last week, they held me down. They held me down, y'all. It is a journey that I'm going through right now. It's a new normal that I'm going through right now. That was my girl. My nonprofit was named after my grandma. She was everything to me. So I want to just tell y'all right now how much I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart for standing in the gap for me and just being there for me. And what I will say, oh, and look, Erica, my best friend was at the repast. She's at the funeral. She's always there with me. That cake that y'all sent, let me tell y'all, they was about to fight over that cake. You hear me? Those folks was mad they didn't get a piece of that cake. It was so good. So that was a great surprise. And I will tell y'all that last week literally separated the people in my life. It's some people that fell off, and I probably won't never talk to them again. And there's some people that stepped up in a way that I just never would have imagined y'all stepped up. So I appreciate y'all for that. Seriously. Iron Woe Media Group, y'all killed the daggone program for my grandma's service. Everybody's like, you got another one, you got another one, you got another one. Everybody wanted one. So they did a great job. 8 pages of just straight love. It was a masterpiece, and every part of my grandma's life was poured into that program. So I appreciate y'all. And just letting y'all know I love y'all seriously, for real. Thank y'all.
We love you, Dee.
My sister said thank you because she was my grandmother's caregiver up until her final day. So thank y'all. For my guests that came on the show tonight, we appreciate y'all for coming and sharing your stories. You guys are necessary. We need this in the airwaves. We need this on social media. People need to hear these stories because for some reason somebody lied and said that y'all ain't shit. But I'm here to tell y'all are the shit. We need y'all. Y'all are important. Y'all are valuable. You are the most important people on the planet. That is the Black man. I don't care what nobody try to tell y'all or try to convince y'all otherwise. Without y'all, we ain't nothing. So y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Keep setting the example. Keep being the example. And keep pouring into them babies because they're going to pour into the next babies and the next babies. And we're going to finally get rid of that stigma of Black men not being shit because y'all are the shit. And we'll catch y'all next week. We out. Drina, where did that go?
Oh, do I got to hit it? I started it, so I got to.
I made it through.